Why don't you try keto diet, man?
Son, milk is really important for your bones. What is lactose intolerance?
You should stop eating rice if you really want to cut down on your belly fat, dear.
Have you tried lemon and honey in lukewarm water? I've heard it really works.
Isn't it like an infinity loop of people telling you the do's and don'ts for your body? But did you ever pull an extra leg to reach out to your own self and try to communicate the aspirations your body has for yourself? Hi, my name is Parth and you are listening to Dhvani. So let me start by telling you something interesting. Dhvani community on Discord is active now. So if you want to connect with this initiative, we'll be happy to welcome you on board. The link for the same is given in the show description. Also, if you have liked the work so far, then follow and share the podcast. You can also support me by buying me a coffee or a chai. The link for that is also mentioned in the show description. I didn't write today's episode. Someone else wrote it for me, and to know the writer's name, you would have to listen till the end. So please do that. The motive of this episode is to put forth a set of views, thoughts, and perspectives with no agenda to hurt any sentiments or counter any beliefs whatsoever. So please don't get offended by anything that I'm gonna say in this episode. I think diet and exercise are the two most neglected aspects of our lives. Today, all of us are in such a haste to achieve everything that we have placed ourselves in a vague algorithm for career, which has set aside the most essential aspect, that is our health. So like many others, even I landed myself in an unending list of exercise and diet plans. Found my way out of all the advices, suggestions, and validations people had for me. And I won't say it didn't sum up to any use or were incorrect. I'm pretty sure it came from personal experiences or successful results. And since I'm no health expert, I won't slip deep into what's right and what isn't. I'll only be sharing all the intriguing changes that I noticed in myself over the span of years. And if there's anything more you'd like to add, please don't shy away to speak your heart out with me on this platform. Now, since I grew up in an Indian household, my perception of a healthy dietary plan and body was very similar to the typical Indian food habits and lifestyle, where from a very young age I was made to eat all kinds of fibers, proteins, and carbs, and mainly a diet rich in fats, with our mothers adding this extra spoon of butter and ghee dripping out of the scrumptious meal cooked, which of course makes you very lucky if you got to eat those meals served with love. And that is also one of the reasons that I'm a huge fan of ghee today. But the thing is, when we are young, our body is growing, we play a lot, and all these things actually make us digest anything and everything, irrespective of how much you eat as a kid. So for a very long time, I was a victim of overeating, as I could only focus on the taste back then. And the parents, they never stopped this because they had a very different outlook that revolved around the body requirements of a growing child, which somehow preached the idea of the more you eat, the better it is. And the issue never resolves. As for our parents, we're still their little kids, and so the constant urge of them stuffing us with delicacies never really ends. As we continue to age and settle in this corporate world and the sedentary lifestyles, the physical activity gradually comes to a halt, making the digestion process complex. So over the years, I switched a lot of different places and cities, tried to dwell in the changing living conditions, and when I gradually adapted to the eating habits and the lifestyle, I somehow started to understand my body, what it needed, what eating habits suited me, and what didn't. And it made me ponder on the fact that if you try to reach out to yourself, your body will find ample ways to communicate with you, and all you gotta do is to acknowledge them. And from that, I was introduced to this concept of intermittent fasting that I can say with full conviction worked wonders for me. But then again, it was a bizarre concept for my family. I still remember the everyday ranting and all the cribbing I did as a kid when I was forced to drink milk and eat paratha before leaving for school back in those days, as breakfast was considered the most important and compulsory consumption. What I feel personally, and also I found out after a number of studies, that this was a planned strategy for the cereal companies which funded many researchers to convince the entire world at a large scale that eating breakfast will set your day right. And it might hold true for many, but I still believe that there are many others out there like me who can't fit into these established norms, as we have different body types, moods, requirements, and situations, which should justify the non-identical eating patterns, right? As for me, I realized in a week-long failed attempt of dieting that it wasn't my cup of tea and would not bring me any results. But since I could feel that my eating habits weren't of the best choice, it indirectly put great influence on my overall growth, as it is also interconnected. So I started with intermittent fasting, where I eat healthy things in a stipulated span of 8 hours and continue fasting for the remaining 16 hours. And it has been quite fruitful for me personally, as it has generously reduced my sugar intake, first of all, and the extra and unnecessary consumption of food that I used to do in a day. It has made me more active, my body more responsive, and through all of this, somehow I have generated this answerability for myself, which ensures this discipline in the eating habits and pushes me to invest more in staying healthy and working for it. See, according to me, there is no impeccable body measurement that you need to fit in, because every individual is discrete and so is the body type, and the idealization to fit into the measurements that are regarded supreme by the society are futile. I feel that the only change you need to bring into your body should be driven by the sole motive of leading a healthy, disease-free, long life. Once you start listening to yourself, what the body wants, you'll find it very real, and the changes will begin to align themselves without you putting any extra or exceptional efforts. So basically, the entire rationale behind bringing up this topic and making it the very core of today's episode was the negligence that I felt amongst all of us over something so important and vital in each and every individual's life. So for once, I want all my dear listeners to seriously give it a thought and try to reach out to yourself, and most importantly, begin to respect yourself and your body. Talk to yourself. Pay attention to what it tries to transmit. Start heeding what you have failed to care for so long. Own your body, love it, and make changes only for yourself to live longer and happier. Because at the end of the day, your body is your only permanent residence. So today's episode was written by Pawni Mishra. The people that you heard in the starting in the order of their appearance were Kanishk Gupta, Mohammad Haris, Anita Yadav, and Anurag Rawat. Thank you to all of them for this contribution. If you like what you hear, and even if you don't, please write to me at info@dhvani.co.in. You can also log on to the website, which is dhvani.co.in/podcast. You can send me voice notes through Facebook, and you can also DM me on my Instagram handle. All these details are mentioned in the show notes. The show has been produced and hosted by me, Parth Chauhan. The theme music for Dhvani podcast has been created by Cutie Honey Bunch. The branding was done by Soumya Garg. Dhvani podcast is available on all major podcasting platforms like Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, JioSaavn, Stitcher, and all the places that you can think of for podcasts. So please go ahead and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. Your support is very, very important. Please take care of yourself and your health. Till the next time, thank you, goodbye, sayonara.